Good morning.
It's weird the music stopped right then. I was hoping that wouldn't happen. It's taking a while to come back. Come here, coffee. We're in the middle of a morning hype train. What, Steven? Okay. How's everyone doing this morning? Kepler wants a scoop.
Yeah. He gets a scoop.
How long of a bike ride did I take yesterday? I did not.
0 miles.
Yesterday was allergy shot day, and I'm not allowed to do that.
Look at that bird.
I see that bird.
Hi, everybody.
What kind of tea did you make?
White tea with raspberry. This is the tea that Muhammad had sent when he had made that game where it's like Fire Emblem, but it's tea versus coffee. I still have some of that tea. I can't remember the name of the game at this particular moment in time, but it's a grid-based game where you fight tea and coffee.
Sovereignty.
Yeah, sovereignty. Yeah. It was fun. If anyone's looking for something similar and also is like, oh yeah, I like tea and coffee.
Kepler, are you gonna come snuggle when you're done? I'm cold.
It's a little cold. I've decided I'm gonna chill on the coffee for a bit. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had caffeinated coffee in a long time, but I think the acid from coffee is giving me some trouble. So it's like, well, I'll have some tea this morning. So, that's what I'm doing.
And he says, I can't wait to break out my cardigans. That reminds me, I need to buy a cardigan. Remember last night how I was like, I am chilly.
I wore a dress last night, which was very cute. Mm-hmm. But it was a sleeveless dress, and we're on our way to the restaurant, and Mal's like, it has just occurred to me that I could be cold. And I was like, it's not an impossibility. I was also a little cold. I like having a hot drink in the morning because it's makes me feel warm inside. I'm a simple creature. I like simple snacks. Oh.
Eddie's running late this morning.
Oh. Feel delighted from your nose to your foot with Tiny Eddie's Gossamer plastic cookies.
I bet they're beautiful, though.
Gossamer?
Yeah. Like a fairy's wings are gossamer.
Oh, when I hear Gossamer, I think of the
Looney Tunes monster?
Character, with the red fuzzy character that doesn't have any arms. That's Gossamer to me.
But that's not the definition of gossamer.
Oh, I did not know what the definition of Gossamer was. To me, that's what Gossamer is.
What is the actual definition of gossamer?
You know, I should really ask Haley if she's got an extra nose piece, because the nose piece, one of the nose pieces on this, came off like months ago. I never remembered to ask.
Gossamer is a fine, flimsy substance consisting of cobwebs spun by small spiders. Used to refer to something very light, thin, and insubstantial or delicate.
Interesting. That was 1,000 bits from Ryan B06. It says, okay, Eddie, I'm feeling a little famished this morning. What you got? Well, Gossamer plastic cookies is bad for 2 reasons. For one, if you're feeling famished, it sounds like Gossamer means that there won't be much of it, and plastic is bad. Don't put plastic in you.
Don't
do it. That's it's not good. It's not a great thing. Let me read some alerts and then we'll talk about what we did yesterday
on date night.
And then maybe briefly I'll talk a little bit about the other thing that happened that everyone else will go, ah, yes, that. 52 months from Maya Rails. Another little snack. If your ninjas are shirtlessly imaginative, feed them Tiny Eddie's armor-flavored honeycomb and shortcake cupcakes. I wish it would have been alive for that one.
Yeah.
Because that one was hard to say. That was 1,000 bits from Elven Scouts. It's time for the not-so-occasional Tiny Eddie snack divination. So cast ye forth the all-knowing bones of fate, fickle and inscrutable, and tell my future. For a minute, I was like, great, it won't scroll.
Keyboard broke too.
It is having a tiny struggle. Armor flavored, I don't know what that means. Honeycomb and shortcake cupcakes. You know, aside from the armor flavored, that doesn't sound awful. Honeycomb and shortcake cupcakes sound good.
Coffee.
Maybe it just has like a slight iron taste. It's like you bit into blood. I guess that makes the cupcake a lot less appetizing. I like shirtless ninjas.
Well, they're imaginative.
I like shirtless ninjas, Stephen George 2024. We got 46 months from Zazaz My Man, 39 from The Relude, 45 from Shiny Hunter John, 55 from Shinoth, Luna Gazer gifted a sub to Jamecop, 22 months from Brina BX, 43 from Zimmer CJ, 49 from Maya the Siren. 300 bits from Satsy says, don't mind me, just hopping on this hype train. We do have a little train. The train went away.
It's still happening.
It's still happening. The train on screen went away, but I assume that that's part of Chaz trying to find where Eddie went. That's my assumption.
Is he on the train?
It's like, where did he go?
Stop the train.
He might be under the train, which is a problem. 300 from Gadzooks. It's been a it's fine morning. Awesome. I presume that there's things that are weird because Chaz is gearing up for completely new alerts tomorrow night, and who knows what that means. That's my assumption. I could be off, but I have decided to live with that as my reality. 300 bits from Gadzooks, who says, strange baseball name of the day is Face. Back in the early 20th century, if you didn't have a long enough career, you didn't get a first name. Face didn't get a name or a face on Baseball Reference. Oh. Poor Face. I wonder what Face's first name was. Roger? Edwin? About? 33 months from Devoid Art. Appreciate it. There's also a art in the queue. Look at this. Disco Hippo!
Disco Hippo.
Disco Hippo. Thank you, Satsy. We spent some time talking about Disco Hippo on the previous breakfast stream, and I do love Disco Hippo. Disco Hippo. You know what else happened on Tuesday? I'm gonna hit on this before we do our date night.
Okay.
Just because, like,
Coffee.
it I wanted to devote less time to it, so I'm gonna do it first.
Okay.
But first, 400 bits from Gamer Girl Life says, morning, Stephen Amell. Can I get some good vibes? I need to have a root canal done this morning, and I'm really nervous. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Mal has had a root canal done.
Yes. I cracked a tooth once.
Seafood, not even once. You could eat a pearl.
If you've never had one, I will say it was not as bad as I was expecting.
That's good. I think, like...
The time was the worst part. It took a long time.
I think, like, pop culture definitely hypes it up as the travesty to happen in your mouth. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you had one and you're like, it was not as bad as you thought it was going to be as good. Good vibes. I hope it goes well. I hope it doesn't take forever. And then, more importantly, I hope that you get some relief. Because generally, if you're having a root canal done, it's because you have been in pain.
Yes.
So,
it's kind of just like getting a filling. It just takes longer.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And there's some other helpful experiences in chat, too. Ember Lara says, I've had a couple now. It's not that bad. Sometimes your broken dental is expensive fare. Jam says, I had a root canal, and the most painful thing was the fact the dentist was leaning over me and crushing my lungs as he worked. And I didn't really have an option to say, hey, please let me breathe. I'm sorry about that, but also, if that was the most painful part, like, that can bode well. So, good vibes, and I hope that the root canal goes well this morning. We also have 300 Bits from Dishnet says, hello from Mexico City. Hope everyone's doing well today. Doing some Power Pros broadcasting this week, and it's exciting stuff.
Awesome.
I saw the photo you posted, and you were like, if you are in Mexico City, you must eat Mexican food. I hope all the Power Pro stuff goes well. And I hope, for the sake of all of the athletes, that...
Ball go far.
Mm-hmm. I hope ball go very far. So the thing I was going to mention was after Breakfast Stream on Tuesday, there was a Sony technical presentation talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. And I watched it. I dedicated a vlog to it talking about it. But I watched it, and I had some thoughts while watching it, and that was... PlayStation 5 good. PlayStation 5 good. Like, it's a good console. And when you're comparing the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, when there is a frame rate difference, that's, like, obvious and noticeable. It's like, okay, yes, 60 FPS is definitely different than 30 FPS. Side by side, I can see and understand. Cool. However... the minute that they switched over to, stuff that's the same frame rate, it gets a little more difficult. I was watching it on my iMac in 4K 60, and, like, can I see the difference? I can see the difference, but does it matter? It's one of those things that, like, I would never be so bold as to tell people how to spend their money. If folks want to, upgrade to the PlayStation 5 Pro and put $700 into that, I mean, power to them. I assume it's for a very, very dedicated crowd. But it's kind of a reminder that, like, video game technology and computer technology has gotten, like, really good. Because the PlayStation 5 looks really good. And the fact that they're like, look, we made it better. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah. Is less of it makes me less interested in the PS5 Pro and more appreciative of the fact that, like, technology's real good. It's real good. But man, I do feel like they would have avoided so much ridicule online if they would have hit a $5.99 price point instead of a $6.99 price point. Like that additional $100. I mean, and also the fact that the disk drive is not included. That's a big deal. That's like a very big deal. And after I had watched it, and I saw that at the end $6.99, I was like, and I went online, and the entire internet was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And like Ember Laura says, it's like telling us to just go build a PC. It is. That's the thing. Like at a certain point, at a certain price point, you kind of start to go. Generally, I would assume that the people that are seriously considering spending $700 on the PlayStation 5 Pro are not the same people who would consider building a PC. I mean, they might get some converts. But one of the benefits of a console, especially a more powerful console like a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox One Series X, is that you don't have to think about all that, right? Like you go to the store, you buy a box, and things just look good, and that's good. Like that's good. That's a completely fair thing to do. Some people don't want to deal with the rigmarole of building a PC, and that's fair. But you know, when you get to a certain price point, I'm like, maybe look into it. Maybe look into it. Maybe something to consider. Anyway, my takeaway in that vlog was that I really was hoping to hear from folks who are seriously considering buying it, and I wanted to know if they were previous PS5 owners or if they didn't have a PS5 and were like, I'll just pay the additional, $200 and get the higher end model, because that's who I want to hear from, because I already know how the general internet feels of like, this is insane. But I'm curious for the folks that are buying it, which camp do they fall into? Because it seems like it's really pointed towards this hardcore Sony crowd, but the hardcore Sony crowd has already invested in a PS5. So I'm really interested of like, okay, are they trading in their consoles to GameStop and then getting a PS5 Pro? Is that what's happening? Or is it going to be some folks that have like never had one and they're just going to get a Pro? I don't know.
NG Ben says, I'm in the waiting for the Switch successor crowd.
The other thing I saw online was so many people were like, Nintendo can do the funniest thing right now. Video games, I will never be a person to tell you that like graphics don't matter. There's people that have that stance of like graphics don't matter at all. No, that's not true. Game experiences are king, right? Of course. But graphic fidelity does matter, and like it's cool that we have these very powerful consoles. That being said, my favorite first-party games come from Nintendo. They just do. It's not that there haven't been some really killer Sony exclusives over the years. There definitely have. And there's been some Microsoft stuff I like. I mean, I played a lot of Halo in high school. But like all the stuff that I really, really love ends up coming from Nintendo. And like the Switch was dated when it came out. And the fact that it has continued to do so well is just kind of a testament to the fact that the game experience is king. So, but all that being equal, yeah, I do want a Switch successor soon, and I do want it to look better.
And be cheaper.
It's not going to cost $700. Like, that's the thing. You can very definitively say, be like, it's not going to cost $700.
No.
I don't know what it's going to cost. But it's not going to be $700. My suspicion is $399. That's my suspicion. But like, who knows? Because like there has been fairly immense amounts of inflation in just the past like decade. So like $399 is probably somewhat reasonable. But like, who knows? Who knows? Switch 2 will be $16K and cost $900. Ah, yes. for everyone in their 16K televisions. If we ran a poll, we don't need to run a poll because I know the answer, but if we ran a poll for like, you know, are you purchasing a Switch 2 successor? There would be a lot of people here that were like, well, yes, of course. The number for the PS5 Pro would be probably fairly low, but Switch successor would be like, yes. Yes. Of course. Of course. Anyway. You know what the real interesting thing about the Switch is? The thing that could use a poll, if you want, is I'm curious how many people use their Switch in handheld mode. Because to me, the Switch is like it's basically a home console. Like, occasionally I will use it, but it's extremely rare. Like, it's not never, but when we talk about percentages, it's like very, very small. There's a lot of people saying that they do. I think it would be more convenient if it was, like, smaller. But if it was smaller, then it wouldn't be the Switch. Like, it needs to be that size because that screen size is, like, the whole thing. It's just very different than having, like, a PSP, you know what I mean? So, anyway. We had 14 months from Fur1001. 300 Bits Sachi says, I am now considering getting a PS4 so I get a disc drive and physical media / games. Thanks, PS5 Pro. The PS4 also looks good. The PS4 also looks good. One of the things I saw people talking about online is they were mad because when the PS5 came out, Sony was like, this device will do 8K. You'll be able to play your games in 4K 60. And now the PS5 Pro is coming out, and they're like, this device does 8K. You'll be able to play your games in 4K 60. And they're like, well, what about the old thing? And, like, I get it because I understand that there's only a set amount of power, right? It's not like we've made the console and now everything will be 8K. It's not exactly how it works. But yeah, I can understand from just a layperson just wanting to play video games, like how frustrating that must be because the box is like, we got you, dog. And you plug it up and it's like, well, you know, the developers did not choose to run this at 8K 120 because they wanted it to look better than a potato. So, it's not going to be quite the same thing. We have 45 months from Paranite, 23 months from Haste the Day, and 300 bits from Jay Linebacker says, I admit, I'm super curious how many people buy third-party games on Switch that look / run way better on other consoles / PC, not counting those that only have a Switch. I like the Switch, and certainly I like first-party Nintendo games, but there are some third-party games on Switch that, honest to God, should not be on the system because they look and play like
potatoes,
like a potato. And it's wild to watch some of the Nintendo Directs where they're talking about games coming out, and like the trailers in the Directs are struggling. Like they are running at bad frame rates and have hitching, and the resolution is like someone just rubbed Vaseline all over the screen. And like, we are to the point now where a lot of games that, you know, historically would come across like all three consoles are just skipping the Switch because they literally cannot run on the Switch. Gone are the days of like, well, the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2 all got the same game. Like we're leaving that era. If someone's developing a third-party game, it's a huge effort to try and get it onto the Switch. Which is one of the reasons that we need a new Switch console. What was the game that I played? Outer Worlds? I think Outer Worlds. I got sent a code for Outer Worlds on Switch by the developer when they brought it to the Switch. And I was curious about the game. And we covered it on Stephen Plays in the First 20, and Lord have mercy. Whew, that was a game of like, yeah, if it's your only option, I guess play it on the Switch. And for some people, that is. This is going to be their only option. But yikes, that game did not look so good. It did not look so good. Anyway, Tears of the Kingdom is a very, very, very technically impressive game running on the Switch.
Yeah.
Very technically impressive. Okay, that's all my spiel about video game stuff. Let's talk about what happened last night, because we did many things. It was Mal's turn to pick.
Yes.
Mal wanted cheese.
Well, it's Discord's fault.
It's Discord's fault?
Yeah, because I think a couple people have been to the melting pot lately in Discord. And I thought, I want cheese fondue. So we went and we got only cheese fondue.
We did, which I don't think I've ever actually been for just cheese.
Yeah.
There's been a few times we've done like cheese and chocolate.
And like, it was good when we went last night. But I feel like if we did it at home with all of our friends,
we
would get more, and it would be cheaper and better.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been to Melting Pot. Like,
yeah. I think the last time we went was after an Extra Life when we took
that's what I was going to say.
Chaz and Dan and Lindsay.
Yes, which was pre-pandemic, I think.
Yeah.
Is that the new Ween remix album? Mister, would you please help my pony? The Melting Pot experience, like what you're paying for is the experience, I think, at Melting Pot, because you're certainly not paying for a tiny bowl of cheese.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing that we learned yesterday from going to Melting Pot was, we should do this at home.
Yes. We
should definitely do this at home. Because, like, we have the people, we have the technology.
Yes.
We can melt cheese at home. And if we put out a APB to TRC and we're like, hey, we're going to do fondue, everyone would be like, yep. Not a single person would be like, I don't know about this. Like, everyone would be like, when can we start? Because this is something that you've talked about prior.
Yes.
Haley's talked about prior.
Yes.
Like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just, even... Josh shouldn't do it. He shouldn't do it, but would he if he was around? Yes. Yes.
And yes, we can do chalky fondue for dessert.
Yeah, so that was the most beneficial thing. Like, was it the most expensive thing in the world to do? No, not doing just the cheese.
No.
But, like, is it actually wildly costly for what you're doing?
Yes.
I mean, it kind of is. So, if you're not just paying for the experience, then, like, let's just do it at home.
Yeah.
Let's put thing in cheese at home.
Because what we can do is we can be like, all right, I'm going to deal with the cheese. Everyone bring, like, 2 things to bring.
Dippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down. We did the Quattro Formaggio.
Were there 4 cheeses in it? Because she only said 3.
Maybe they were out of that. Trio Formaggio. The 4th cheese is in your heart. Oh God, I hope not. I get blood work soon.
Oh, you do. That's right.
I know. I need to fast after midnight. I generally don't eat after midnight anyway,
Yeah.
but like I should not eat anything after midnight. Anyway, so that was the first thing that we did, because that wasn't dinner.
No.
That was like half dinner.
Yeah, that was like half dinner.
You know. So then the next thing that we did, and this was all Mal's chose what was going on yesterday.
Yeah.
We went to Jaguar Bolero, which is a...
They're trying to make it a chain.
So so I thought it was a chain, but it's
Whoever
not.
owns it also has some other, like, concepts, businesses they're trying to do. And there's a Jaguar Bolero. It's Bolero, I think.
That was Bolero.
No, it's Bolera.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Bolera. A.
I'm pretty sure I said Bolero 100 times in yesterday's video. It's fine. I'm curious the amount of people that pronounce it Jaguar versus Jaguar. Because growing up, we always said Jaguar. But some people are like, why would that be Jaguar? That's Jaguar. And I'm like, eh.
Anyway, it's a restaurant concept.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't particularly like the interior design of it. How did you feel about the interior design of it?
It was eclectic.
It sure was. Their
was
color
eclectic.
scheme was like olive green and mauve.
It's just a weird... Everything about it was very weird.
Yeah.
Like, I thought... And this isn't your fault, because, like, you didn't know, but it had been kind of sold to me as something akin to a Round One or a Dave & Buster's.
Well, that's how the news had been spinning it. Because
Yeah.
I've been watching it, like, the news has been like, new restaurant concept in Raleigh.
And, like...
Jaguar Bolera gets close to opening date.
I would not call it that
No.
at all. Like, I have been to Dave & Buster's, and I have been to Round One.
Let
And
me-
this was not those. That's not what this was.
No, this wasn't what this was at all.
It was, I understand the comparison in the
Here,
sense of, like,
I took
it's a
a
place
photo.
where you can eat and play games.
Let
I'm
me
like,
put this in mod chat to get put up on the screen.
of the interior?
Yeah. So people can see this color scheme.
Yeah, it's different. It was very different. Oh, here
So-
we go.
Like, it's interesting.
Also, do you see how much space there is?
Yeah.
So, like, the tables and stuff that you're seeing, like, that's where you eat. But the way that it works is, like, you... Okay, I'm gonna try to start from the beginning here.
We walked in,
There's...
and there's, like, a host stand. And they're like, are you meeting people here? And we're like, no, it's just us. We're just checking this out.
Yeah.
And she's like, can I give you a tour? And we were like, okay. So we take, like, 5 steps to the right. She's like, over here is the counter where you order, and the menus are in that basket right there. And she's like, and this is where the drinks are. And she points over there. She's like, you need to go to this other counter over that way to get a wristband. And then you scan your wristband and you can use the tap to get your drink. And she's like, and around that way there's darts, and to play games you need to go to this other counter to, like, pay for them. And there was a game counter, a drink counter where you got a wristband, and then there's the food counter. And it was just...
Yeah, there was a lot... Because when you think of, like, a traditional restaurant, even the Dave & Buster's,
Yeah.
which has been a while since I've been to that, but the Dave & Buster's, from what I can recall, it's still a setup for a normal restaurant,
Yeah,
like a
it's
Chuck E. Cheese for
restaurant-
adults.
Yeah, yes.
You sit at a table, and then they're like, do you want tokens? But now they're on, like, a card.
Yeah.
And then you leave your seating area to go to the arcade, and then you come back.
Yes.
This is very different, where when you order food, you just sit wherever you want.
They gave us a pager,
Yeah.
but they never set it off.
I think it's because there were so few people in there, they just knew where we were.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, like, there's seating... The place is pretty big, and, like, the seating is pretty spread out.
Yeah.
And you can just, like, go chill and do whatever, and then they'll bring you your food. Mm-hmm. The food was actually delicious.
The food was very good.
I was extremely
Yes.
surprised. I was like, oh, this is very good. So that part was a win. I was like, cool. All right, the food's very good. The experience was weird, but, like, the food was really good.
Because, like, the experience is you would have to have your credit card and pay, or whatever you're paying with, at 3 different spots in the place. And if you're doing the
Yeah.
drink stuff, they keep it on file, and then based on what your wristband scans, that's how much you pay.
Yeah.
And you pay per ounce.
Yeah. The other thing is that because there are
Blanket, come here.
because there are so many different places to pay, you don't have a server. But there was a lot of employees around just like helping out.
Yeah. There was a lot of employees.
And I was like, this is kind of strange because like there's no way to leave a tip. And Mal goes, there was a sign that says 18% gratuities just added to everything you buy. And I'm like, that's okay. That's how they do it. I see.
Jacket cases, so it's not even free refills. No, you have to scan your wristband every time you go get a drink. And it's per ounce. So if you're not paying attention... We were actually, when we were at Melting Pot, we were telling our server that we were going there. And she goes, be careful, I spent $34 on a drink.
She must not have paid attention.
Yeah.
You know.
And they had a ton of drinks. Like, there was beer and there was, like, cocktails on the tap. And there was, like, ciders
There was a lot
and
of
wines.
drinks.
Main Root Soda, which is, like, a indie soda brand.
There was, like, 50 taps.
Yeah, and there was multiple different taps. There were 2 different taps downstairs, and then there was a set of taps upstairs.
Yeah. So.
Do they check IDs? Yeah, they probably check IDs when you get a wristband.
M-Tap, it says $34 for soda? No.
No,
sorry.
she had alcohol.
Yeah, the soda does not cost $34 in any economy. But it is possible to pay a lot of money for a drinky drink, depending on what you're getting.
Yes.
Radio Tread says you don't know that. Fair. There might be. If you are in a place where the Coca-Cola is $34, that's bad. Chaz says it probably could at professional sports economy. The system for the drinks
Yes.
was neat.
Yes.
I think that technology
One of
is
the
neat.
things I wonder how they're getting around is normally, like, when you have a bartender, if they notice that one of their customers is too far gone, they cut them off because it's part of, like, having a liquor license
Sure.
and being careful about that.
Yeah.
Who is policing how much alcohol people are drinking?
Well, the wristband knows.
Yeah, but everyone's different because of their body type and their metabolism.
It's true.
Like, when does it say you can't have any more?
My assumption is either that they don't, or
Although, that's the great part. They don't.
they either don't, or like there could be things in place to do that. For instance, like the wristband would know how much you've drank.
Okay.
So someone would be able to say, wristband whatever has had this much, and they probably, I mean, we have the technology to have, to be able to figure out where that wristband is in the place.
Okay.
And there's a ton of employees
There were
working.
so many employees working for
Like,
a Wednesday night and how busy it was.
Honest to God, like an uncomfortable level of employees working to the point where I was like, I don't like this.
They were kind of fighting over who got to take our order, and then, like, at some point they came by and took our plates from us.
Yeah.
And there were 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like the TikTok meme of, like, boss is like, you don't need to do everything together. And then, like, it's 2 employees who are, like, opening doors for people. Like, it's not a 2-person job.
It was, and like when we had first walked around, we walked around the corner and saw where the darts were.
Yeah.
And there were no patrons, but there were 2 employees just standing there. And I was like, I don't know. It was just really
And it's
strange.
all light olive green and mauve. Like,
Yeah. It was.
we didn't talk about the games and what they had yet.
Yeah, I just wanted to say again, neither of us actually had any drinks. We just
No.
drank water. But I do think that the wristband thing is cool.
It is.
I think that it's a cool idea. It's, I think, very easy for someone to spend too much money on a drink that
Yes.
way, right? Mm-hmm. Because, like, you're not thinking too much about what you're pouring. Mm-hmm. It's not telling you how many ounces you're getting.
No.
It's
it
just,
is.
Is
it
it?
does tell you. It shows up on the little screen.
Oh, I didn't know it said
Yes.
it shows what they cost. I didn't know it showed how. Well, that's good. That's at least
there's
helpful.
like a little screen above each tap, and it's like, get one of these glasses, and there's like a ton of glasses off to the side. So it's telling
Yeah.
you to get like a highball glass or like
Yeah.
any like what kind of glass to get, and it's like put ice in it, and then you come back and you scan your wristband, and then you pour it, and apparently it's gonna count.
Yeah.
We didn't see anyone get any drinks, and we didn't get any drinks.
Which is not a good sign. We were there for an hour, and we didn't see anyone get a single drink.
There was a group there, and I think they were like a work group, like a work-sponsored event going on.
Yeah.
That's what I think was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's cool, but we didn't use that at all. I almost wondered if the soda was free.
No.
Because, like...
There was a sign that said you can buy a soda cup at the food counter.
Okay, that's what it was. Because, like, there was nothing to stop you.
Yeah, Vagabond, there was 3 sections with taps. There's an upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, the amount, like, I don't know how many different drinks there were, but the number of taps was probably...
Well, there was, like...
Maybe 70.
The one by the water where we got water...
Had like 20.
Had like 20.
And the other one had like 30.
Had like 30, and we
So
didn't go upstairs.
There was probably another 20 upstairs.
Yeah.
So.
But they were similar between the 2 downstairs ones. It's just one had multiple different ones. And then this one had just less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was neat. So the games that they had.
You had to go to a game counter to buy stuff.
Game time.
Game time.
They had duck pin bowling.
That's the biggest thing that they had, I think.
That obviously takes up a fair bit of room.
Yes.
To have,
and there was
bowling lanes.
There was like 4 duck pin lanes, and then around the corner there was like 4 other duck pin lanes, and then there was some duck pin lanes upstairs.
Yes.
So it's not a ton of lanes altogether like a traditional bowling alley.
There was a foosball table. That was free.
Yeah, the foosball table was free.
There was...
tabletop shuffleboard.
Which was free.
Free, mm-hmm.
There was a section of the restaurant that had dartboards.
Mm-hmm. Metal tip dartboards.
Like actual dartboards, which is nice. And Mao and I played the closest game of darts people can actually possibly play.
And darts were free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played cricket, and we got down to where either one of us needed a bullseye. Mm-hmm. We had filled it. Everything else was done. Either one of us needed a bullseye, so we're both like just throwing and just hoping. Mao got it. It was a very close game. Mm-hmm. And then they had a single room.
Yes,
for
a
karaoke.
Single room of karaoke.
Like one
that you could rent out by the half hour.
Oh, this song. They had a single. Yeah, a single room. And at some point while we were playing darts, a large group walked in there and sat and then got up and left.
Yes.
They never did anything there. They didn't sing. They just sat in there and went, oh, neat. And then they left. And that was strange.
Yes. There was apparently cornhole. Somewhere. They're adding pickleball. And what else were they adding?
I don't know where they're adding pickleball. Like, it's not the biggest establishment.
No.
Especially when things are so spread out. Anyway, one thing that you will hear that is noticeably absent is any sort of electronic games. There was no arcade or anything.
They also had
motorcycles.
No. Foosball. Oh, we said that. Foosball, darts, karaoke, duck pin, cornhole. They're adding ping pong and pickleball, and there's makertainment apparently, but we didn't see any of that. So my assumption is that
what is makertainment?
My assumption is that they have like local artists and like craftsmen come in and be like, oh, we're gonna do leather making on Thursdays, and then you sign up and do like a leather making class and get to make like a little leather thing and keep it.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Vagabond says there are card games. Yeah, apparently somewhere, I think upstairs, there's like card games and some board games. But we never saw that or where they were. Interesting.
Okay.
Their website says that, because I did read that, but we never saw that.
I guess you could also... I don't know that anyone would stop you if you just brought in a game.
Yeah.
So the business model basically is come in, sit wherever you want. If you want to sit near a thing, an activity, then you can sit there. Order food, they'll bring it to you wherever you are. If you want a drink, you have the wristband to get whatever you want, and then to just relax. And, you know, we were not the best patrons for them because
we didn't get any
we
drinks.
we didn't get any drinks, and we, you know, just tried a little bit of the food, and then we played darts, which were free. All in all, it was a strange experience.
Yeah, like the concept I think could work, but it feels a little...
Everything about it feels slightly bizarro, and I think one of the reasons for it was definitely that there were 3 employees to every patron, and that was just a weird feeling.
Yeah.
I don't like walking around a place and there's just people just like hovering around. I'm like, there's too many people working. If nobody has anything to do and they're just like chilling there, I'm like, okay, on a Wednesday evening, I think we need to adjust the workforce. Satsy says, this isn't an Apple store. Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't play duck pin. I had heels on, and there's no bowling shoes, because it's not a giant ball you're using for that. It's like smaller.
Yeah.
So they don't... I don't know, they're not doing bowling shoes.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to play duck pin, but we didn't. And that would be fun to do at some point, maybe as a group.
Don says, what is a duck pin? So the duck pin bowling is like normal bowling.
They're like little...
The lanes are shorter.
Yeah.
The lanes are shorter, the balls are smaller,
and the pins are like squat and like
they're different.
Rounded.
If you Google image search duck pin bowling, you'll get it immediately. You'll be like, oh, interesting. It's different.
Yeah.
It's like candlestick bowling in the sense that it is a bowling alternative. Mm-hmm. But
duck pin
wide
is
instead of thin.
Like Canadian, like East Canadian, I think. Because I know John has played and talked about it. And Candlestick is like Maine, New Hampshire bowling alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, neat.
Candlestick is similar to duck pin.
The duck pin there was 10 pin. I don't know if there's differences,
yeah,
but it was 10 there. Anyway, yeah. That was Jaguar Pelera, which is not how they want you to say it. There was also 300 bits of token here. It says, man, I feel this yak looking at that design. It was a choice.
It was a choice.
It was a choice.
It was very like Instagram choice. Like, we want this to look like something someone would take photos of Instagram to like.
Well, I mean, we did take a photo of it.
We did.
That is a thing that happens.
I took a bad photo. It's just like, meh.
I don't know. It's not a place I would think to go back to, and it certainly wasn't round 1. There's a round 1 in Greensboro.
I think it's in Greensboro. It might be in Winston-Salem, but they're close together.
And like it, you know, that's a bit of a drive, but it would be fun to take everyone over to round 1 at some point, just because that would be enjoyable. But would we go back to Jaguar Pelera? It's like, I don't know. If I want to eat food and play board games, I can do that in my home.
Yeah.
And if I want to play darts, there's much closer, easier places to go to play darts.
So, like, the only reason is to go play duck pin.
Yeah. That being said, I was impressed with the food that we tried,
yes.
So I'd be interested in, if we go back, I'll try different food, because I was not expecting it to be good. Mm-hmm. Like, Topgolf, when we went to Topgolf, like, the food was fine.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything special, but, like, it was fine. It was serviceable. But the food at the place last night, I was like, oh, this is actually very good.
Yeah.
So.
I had catfish tacos. You ordered the quesadilla?
Yeah.
And it was, like, cotija cheese. So it was, like, not just...
Yeah. It was good.
Colby or whatever. Jam says is there a board game specific cafe in the area? I remember it from a vlog. There is a board game bar and there's a board game cafe.
We've never been to the board game cafe on the vlog.
Oh, on the vlog, yeah.
Yeah, there's a board game cafe on the vlog called Meeple Cafe.
That's the cafe, and that's not been on the vlog.
Yeah, but the bar, the tavern or whatever.
What's that place called? It's next
The
to
Geekery.
Limited Run. The Geekery. Yeah.
It's literally next door to Limited Run Games.
Yeah.
So we've been to the Geekery
A couple times.
a few times.
Been a while.
Yeah. And that's a cool
Please
place.
don't kick me.
And that's another place where it's like, yeah, the food's fine.
Yeah.
It's serviceable. It's not disgusting. It's a fun place if you want to try out new board games. But like we have so many board games in our home. Like we have an entire closet dedicated to board games, and there's like 100 in there. So there's plenty of stuff to play here. But if there's something we wanted to like try, I guess we could go there and try it out. So we also had 62 months from Sylvana and 34 months from Zach Lumberjack. Thank you. And then the final thing we did, I know we're at the wire here. The final thing we did is we came back, and 2 weeks ago on our last date, we watched The Terminator, the first film. So last night we came home and watched T2, Judgment Day. And it was good. It's, we've seen parts of it before. I don't know if we've ever watched the whole thing start to finish.
I probably have.
I probably
have
too.
My dad loves that
but
movie.
I don't remember. It's extremely good, and it was fun watching it having just watched Terminator 1. Because it's, I don't know, it was fun to compare them. Terminator 1 was from 84 with a budget of $6 million. Terminator 2 was from 91, 7 years later with a budget of $100 million. And apparently the only reason that there was that much time between the two films was a rights issue, because there was a company that was holding enough of the rights where they couldn't make the movie, and then eventually they bought those rights and made the movie. And the budget was definitely bigger. And like there's some really crazy stuff that happens. I think one of the most fun things for me was there's some really wild stuff that's happening in the movie, and this is before the era of CGI being able to do the things they were showing, and it's just wild. Like some of the things that are like, there's a part near the end where there's a helicopter flying very dangerously, and I'm watching this, and your brain does not process that it's real immediately, because we're so used to like everything is fake now.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this, and then I see it, and then my brain has like a second thought of like, this is 1991. You've already seen what the CGI in this movie is. This is real. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is actually real. Like the things that are happening are real. And makes it much more exciting, actually. So, yeah, it's a really good movie. Tonally, it's very different from
the first one.
The first one is very serious, and the second one has a bit of humor injected into it. But
I liked the second one.
But not in a way that detracts. It's honestly just like a very fun ride. So, yeah. Neat. And then, depending on who you ask, there are no other Terminator movies. They only ever made 2. That's it. No other ones.
There's cat tax in the queue.
Cat tax. Little Shrimp Man. That is Little Shrimp Man. Love Little Shrimp Man.
I feel like some cats curl into a shrimp more than others. Kepler is very shrimp. He is a ball.
He is very shrimp.
Like, have I ever seen Venser curl into a ball like this? I don't think so.
He does shrimp very hard.
He's so good at shrimp.
So let's talk about things that are coming up. If you missed Subnautica yesterday, I will be trying to get that out. That'll probably come out tomorrow, actually. I exported it overnight, and those videos are so big that they take forever to upload and especially to process, so that'll be probably a tomorrow thing. But it's on Twitch if you want to watch it now. Tomorrow...
I have a stream.
You streaming in the morning?
I am. I don't know what I'm doing yet. We should talk about that.
Okay, tomorrow at 11 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, Mal's streaming some?
Some.
Okay. That's happening. And then tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, Mal and I are streaming Banjo-Kazooie.
Did you check that yet?
No, that's a today problem.
Okay.
I pulled the Xbox out and I put it there. It's there, but I haven't gotten as far as testing it. I guess there's a chance that, like, I've had consoles like get broken in the move.
Yeah.
Like the N64's power supply got screwed up. The GameCube stopped reading discs. There's a chance that I'll go to turn this on and it won't work, and then I'll go, we're not doing Banjo tomorrow. But I'll test that today, and it's probably fine. Probably fine. But that'll be tomorrow at 8 p.m., and I'm looking forward to this. I'm guessing this won't take 18 months to complete. Probably not. Probably not. This is... I don't know what the time on this will be. 2 months? Maybe?
If it's 18 months, I'm moving to Coos Bay. Alone.
Yeah, probably 2 months. Probably like 8 streams at most would be my suspicion. And that's like that's if things are going wrong. So, we had 300 bits from Aldo. It says, fun fact, while they were planning to use CGI for the T-1000, they decided not to when they learned that Robert Patrick could do all his own stunts. That's the power of acting.
I was reading last night that he worked on running prior to this.
Yeah.
And they were like, he won't catch that dirt bike. And then he could catch the dirt bike, but like he got so like cardio fit that like he was doing it so he wasn't like panting because he's playing the T-1000. Yeah,
it's very good. Like there's a lot of sections of him running and just it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Maybe at some point we'll watch the third Terminator film.
Maybe.
The third one apparently is like it's okay, and then the other ones after that are like oh no, but the third one is apparently like okay. So maybe at some point we'll watch it. And then finally, it's already been pinned by Fossix, but there is a vlog out. I meant to get a vlog out yesterday, and I didn't. And then I couldn't because I hadn't done it by the time Subnautica happened, and then we had the date night, so I didn't get that out. So it's out today. We took the entire group to Topgolf when Paul was here. And then another one of our friends... Jenny from Player's Choice was also visiting, so we had her as well. So we had a pretty big group, and we went to play Topgolf. There's also some board game stuff in there too. So, and that's it. You're taking even more photos of the boy. 43 months from Parv Gang, and with that, we're all set. Oh my God,
Isn't he precious?
He's very precious.
He's precious.
He's clearly just very tired. He just wants to be cuddled up and relax. Oh my God. All right, y'all have yourselves a wonderful Thursday. Mal will see you in the morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for a stream on her channel. And then we'll both see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern here for the start of Banjo-Kazooie.
Make the noise.
Gah!